Today I got an angry message from a woman. She favors the Attorney General Assistant Prosecutor Jennifer Rausch and Judge Stephen L. McIntosh. She asked me in a very angry way, how can I accuse them of misconduct if it was the DNA analyst Amarina Pauly who testified that I couldn't be excluded as a minor contributor? Good question, ma'am, but you must have emotional intelligence when asking this kind of question. You calling me names and coming at me with so much anger, and you didn't check the facts for yourself. Allow me to answer that question for you, mommy, with clear and convincing facts that you can check for yourself. Your friend Jennifer Rausch claimed that the results from the DNA testing came back that I, nor the witness, could be excluded as minor contributors. This was in September of 2013. My lawyer filed for a continuance in order to hire a DNA analyst to challenge the Columbus Police Department lab results. This was also in September of 2013. The results came back in October 2013 from the Diagnostic Center in Fairfield, Ohio, tested by a DNA analyst named Julie A. Heinig. Her discovery from testing the same samples were completely contrary to the state findings, dismantling the state's case. Julie A. Heinig results were that the samples were too weak to draw a conclusion, and that the witness and myself can both be excluded as minor contributors. Amarina Pauly testified under oath that she followed the testing and the checks and balances that her lab had in place to make sure that those samples were not contaminated. Amarina Pauly swore that she didn't find any evidence of contamination either on the items themselves or when she was testing them. Additionally, she testified that she followed the protocols established by the Columbus Police Department lab. She assured the jury that the accreditation she testified to was not locally, but nationally, and that no legal language would change the scientific results she were testifying to. Amarina Pauly went even further by saying if she could have excluded the witness or myself, she would have done that. You can read this for yourself in my trial transcripts. Allow me to show you the misconduct. Amarina Pauly testified to a jury that the protocols that the Columbus Police Department lab established for her to follow is not locally, but in fact nationally. That means these same protocols goes for the DNA Diagnostic Center in Fairfield, Ohio. Julie A. Heinig followed the same guidelines and protocols. Her results were correct and Amarina Pauly results were false. I know what you're thinking. That's for the jury to decide, right? Yeah, well, Jennifer Rausch knew that too. That's why she got her friend and past schoolmate Paul Zachariola not to call Julie A. Heinig to testify on my behalf, even after he subpoenaed her. So all the jury heard was a DNA expert say my DNA was on some evidence that was implicating me in a crime, along with Paul Zachariola dumbass asking questions about the different languages of different labs, which meant nothing because he isn't educated in that field, nor is he a DNA analyst. How can anyone convince a jury of your peers that you're innocent when the prosecution is presenting DNA evidence against you? You can't because DNA doesn't lie. But Amarina Pauly lied and so did Jennifer Rausch. Now comes the Columbus Crime Lab almost a year later, admitting to the Star they made an error with my results, and now stating I can be excluded along with the witness. Jennifer Rausch already knew this, so did Stephen L. McIntosh, Amarina Pauly, Paul Zachariola, and myself. What did these state officials do? Judge Stephen L. McIntosh told me in my appeal that if I had a problem with the Columbus Crime Lab DNA report, then I should have hired a DNA analyst to challenge the results. What? Julie A. Heinig. This is the wicked prosecution and misconduct I'm dealing with. Look at it for yourself. I have receipts for all my claims, right there for the whole world to see. I was convicted with false DNA bolstered with false witness testimony. Those are the facts, and here's my answer. I know it's tough to understand why people in power commit this kind of misconduct. I'm sure it's tougher to accept. Consider how I feel. 13 years of my life is gone, and I'm 100% innocent.